Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Nidhi's Tales. 2-3 days back when I was putting my daughter to sleep, she said, "Mama, please tell me a bedtime story." And I told her the story of the Little Red Riding Hood. And then I thought, why not share it with you guys? So today I'm going to tell you the story of Little Red Riding Hood. So let's start. Once upon a time, there was a loving family in a cozy home at the edge of a forest. In the family were the father, the mother, and their only child, a sweet little girl. Now, this girl had a red hooded cape. You know the kind of hoods that we have in our jackets? The same kind of hooded cape of red color. And she was so fond of that red hooded cape that she used to wear it almost all the time. So people started calling her the Little Red Riding Hood. She said, "Red Riding Hood, your grandma is very ill. I have baked some fresh cookies for her, some bread rolls, and a bottle of jam. I have packed these things in this basket. Will you please take this basket to her?" Red Riding Hood became very happy. She said, "Yes, Mommy, I'll take this basket to Grandma. And can I please stay there for a while and play with her? She'll also feel better playing with me." Mother said, "Fine, you can stay there for a while. But Red Riding Hood, remember, you have to cross a forest to reach to her house because her house is at the other end of the forest. Please do not move away from the path. There are very dangerous animals in the forest." Red Riding Hood promised not to go away from the path. And then off she went. While she was passing the forest, Red Riding Hood saw some strawberries. Big, juicy red strawberries. And she thought, why not take some strawberries for Grandma? She will love those fruits. So she started picking some strawberries for her grandma. She did not realize that she had gone deep into the forest. In the forest was a cunning fox watching her all the while. The fox came to Red Riding Hood and said, "Oh dear little child, who are you? And where are you going?" Red Riding Hood said, "I am Red Riding Hood. I am going to visit my grandma. She is ill, and so I am taking a basket full of goodies for her." And the wolf then said, "Where does your grandma live?" She said, "My grandma lives at the other end of the forest." Hearing this, the wolf started making a plan. He said to Red Riding Hood, "Oh, then why don't you pick some flowers for her? She will love these flowers." And the innocent Red Riding Hood thought, "Oh yes, these flowers are so lovely. Let me get few of these for her. She will love the smell and feel better." So, while Red Riding Hood was picking the flowers, the wolf took another way and went to Grandma's cottage. He knocked. The grandma was too ill to come to the door and open it. She said, "Who's there? The door is open, my dear." And Wolf went inside the cottage. He grabbed the grandma, tied her hands and legs, and put her in a closet in the other room. And then he wore some of Grandma's clothes, her nightgown, her cap, her spectacles, and lay on the bed. When Red Riding Hood reached the cottage, she knocked. Now the wolf, in Grandma's voice, said, "Who's there, dear? The door is open. Please come in." So Red Riding Hood came inside the cottage. She did not realize that it was the wolf. She put the basket on the table and stood near the grandma. Grandma said, Suddenly Red Riding Hood realized there was something different about Grandma. She said, "Grandma, why do you have such big eyes?" And Grandma, actually not Grandma, the wolf in the voice of Grandma, said, "So that I can see you better, my child." Red Riding Hood asks, Grandma, why do you have such big ears? And Grandma says, so that I can hear you better, my child. Then Red Riding Hood asks, but Grandma, why do you have such big hands? And Wolf in Grandma's voice says, so that I can hug you better, my child. And then the little Red Riding Hood asks, but Grandma, why do you have such big teeth? At this, the wolf says, so that I can eat you better. And he suddenly jumps out of the beds and grabs Red Riding Hood. Red Riding Hood starts shouting, help, help, somebody help me, please. There was a lumberjack working in the forest. He could hear the faint noises. When he came running to the cottage, he saw that the door was open. He went inside and saw the wolf and the Red Riding Hood. Red Riding Hood said, please, please help me. The lumberjack with his axe gave a heavy blow to the fox and cut the fox into 2 pieces. He rescued little Red Riding Hood. Then Red Riding Hood says, I must find my grandma. So the lumberjack and Red Riding Hood start looking for grandma. When they went inside the room and opened the closet, they saw grandma sitting there with her hands and legs all tied up. They took out grandma, untied her hands and legs and gave her some water. Then Grandma and Red Riding Hood thanked the lumberjack and enjoyed the bread rolls, the cookies and the jam. So friends, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon. See you next time.